I mentioned before, a few years ago at a conference, that I heard the famous astrophysicist Jastrow being interviewed when the Hubble spacecraft was sent aloft, and he was on the radio, and he said, 15 to 17 billion years ago, the universe exploded into being. I almost drove my car off the road when I heard that. The universe exploded into being. What did it explode out of? Non-being? Let me also add to this, several years ago, I had the opportunity to have exchange correspondence with Carl Sagan. And in our correspondence, we were talking about the Big Bang cosmology and about how the astrophysicists of our day have gone back in time to the last nanosecond before this eternally organized piece of stable condensation of energy and material before it blew up. He said, that's as far back as we can go and no further. And I said to Dr. Sagan, how can you call yourself a scientist and stop your inquiry into truth at the most important moment in all of history? He said, well, we just don't have to go there. I said, yeah, you do have to go there. Because you have to account for this singularity, this point of singularity that for all eternity was stable and organized, immutable, in a state of inertia, and then suddenly, inexplicably, on a Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, it blows sky high. Stop me if I'm lying, but doesn't the law of inertia say that anything that is at rest tends to remain at rest unless acted upon by an outside force? Your theory of the origin of the cosmos screams for a self-existent eternal being. You can't have it without it. The minute you say there's a beginning to the universe, you've got two options. Either the universe came out of nothing, all by itself, or the universe was created by something that is self-existent and eternal. They're the only options, folks. Don't let anybody play games with you on this. I say it, if you want to get a simple grasp of it, let me ask you this simple question. If there was ever a time, 15 billion years ago, 17 billion years ago, 20 billion years ago, 100 billion years ago, if there ever was a time when there was nothing, no being, no becoming, no actuality, no potentiality, just non-being, nothing. Yet, das nicht. What would there be now? What could there possibly be now? Absolutely nothing. If you haven't learned anything else in science, in philosophy, and in theology, you need to learn the absolute principle, ex nihilo nihil fit, out of nothing, nothing comes. This is why Francis Schaeffer, during his career, said that the modern naturalist has both of his feet planted firmly in thin air. Because ultimately, once they deny the existence of a self-existent eternal being who has a deity, their only option is some kind of spontaneous generation, which is not science, it's magic. Poof! The world pops into being, or as Jastrow says, explodes into being. I mean, have you ever thought about what a tremendous explosion nothingness can cause?